A head-to-head match between Navi and Gambit is off for the start in the upper bracket of Blast Premier Spring Finals 2021. This is a very important tournament for both of these teams because Gambit, well, they are attempting to prove their position back. They are still marked as the #1 team in the world, but Navi, in recent days, they managed to take over Gambit in 2 matches. And Dust2 is a very interesting pick because actually they came out on top 2 times in a row with a 16-12 and 16-14 scoreline. Gambit themselves, well, that's a pretty narrow margin. You could say they were having a really good chance to shed a lot of competition against Navi and Dust2 as well. And Ancient can't be in line as a non-door taker for Navi either. So there were lots of questions. Navi definitely not an opponent to be trifled with. The second best team in the world on AHL TV rating. Simple receives a nasty tag onto his head, down to 12 HP. He falls, slides down into a very unpleasant spot, and immediately changes his position over to long. That's been replaced by Boomish to take his eyes over the short. Electronic helped him out as well, but nobody from Gambit is up close. They've abandoned short. It is rather 3 of the players standing downwards next to the lower tunnel. NAVI makes himself on top of the box. This round looks to be a bit of an A execute, it seems. They've aggressed down the short in the beginning. Simple received a very big amount of damage. Boomish position has been read as well. A nice tag delivered by NAVI as well. Flashbang into the sky, not dodged by Navi, but they are far away for the lives to be preserved, but not for too long. NAVI and Shiro taking down Boomish plus Electronic. Hobbit on lawn withstands Simple with 12 HP, who had only 1 head popping out of the gates, and this 0-0 looks to convert into 1 for Gambit. It seems Gambit have done just enough to secure the bomb. I wonder where is it planted. Looks to be planted somewhere in the side, so Hobbit has got a pretty good chance to cover it off as well. Bit and Perfecta making their way through. They have no defuse kits left on the floor, and this will be an immediate shutdown by Gambit, so no chance given. Navi will fall, and letting Gambit pick up their first pistol round. That is a very nice beginning for them, considering how much impact they did onto Simple. That, you know, since the beginning didn't go well for Navi. An instant tag onto Simple, who was trying to bring some impact from short. He wasn't even given a chance to hit a single point of damage onto Gambit. Just caught off out of the rounds, you could say, and left to shoot some bullets from the middle pit. Simple, although he wants the revenge, he goes straight to the same position we saw him in the previous round and gets himself the frag on NAVI. Unfortunately, that's been traded. No more frags to be delivered in the Navi's camp. Gambit are taking this one slow and methodical. They don't want to make too many mistakes coming into the second round because they know how intimidating those force buys can be. Navi have already revealed they've gone for the Deagles for armor. You don't know whether your opponent is armored until you see a Deagle or a P250 out there, because normally when you see Deagles all across the entire board, it automatically means that there is armor somewhere up close as well. And Navi are looking to abandon the A control completely. Instead, they regroup over the B-bomb site until they finally realize that it's going to be an A execute. Electronic tries to make a use of this little gap. He does connect the shot and equalize the situation. Flashbang out of the sky will keep a couple of players at bay. Gun to the right position. The smoke dissipates. Another flashbang deployed to cover off enters. He has called it out for his teammate. Still an attempt to plant the bomb down. It hasn't been down just yet. Now it goes in pretty safely, unless somebody hits an incredible jump with a Mac-10, for instance. It's not going to be happening, but Bit has got a real chance. He's off against Exile and Intors, but unfortunately Scout is a very big bottleneck shooting straight from the pit. He will switch himself up to Mac 10 and chooses to help his teammate out, just gun him down as he made himself out of the pit. No, that was a pretty nice chance for Bit. It looked like they had a slight possibility to pull it back, but unfortunately those rounds are not such Gambit are willing to give away for their enemy. No. Although it is Navi's map pick, but if you pick up the pistol round, you want to make sure you squeeze out as much as you're able to from this one. And as much as you're able to doesn't mean you've picked up the pistol round and, well, you struggled, you gave it a try to pick up the second against a force buy and you were having an excuse. Well, they had a force buy. They had an incredible set of bullets coming our way and we couldn't make any difference right there. But no, in those kind of rounds, in those kind of situations, when you're picking up the very first round of the map, you want to make sure you progress further with 3 the very least. You take down the force buy and you put your enemy onto economy distress, which is exactly what reflects in Navi's buy. A Deagle onto Simple, P250 onto Bit, and the rest with USPSs. Of course, this is not driven by that much of potential in this one. Navi, they can barely scrap up anything, especially with the Deagle located towards B. It finds no success in this round for sure, and this is done. Gambit have already made themselves into the A-bomb side. They plant the bomb down easily, so no casualties taken. For Navi, it becomes a mission of getting residual damage. Nicely deployed nade, but he's got to go for something more. USPS is not enough to hit a headshot from such a range and get your enemy down. It's got to be a consecutive shot, so Interest takes one of his own. That is a little bit tricky, it seems, but Navi still shouldn't be allowed to get so many frags in this contention. Gambit, they don't need to fight with the lone players, right? You just back off, you flock around the same spot, it tries to focus on the other side of the map completely. There is P250 and a Deagle up close, so they can be very painful for you if you overextend or if Navi choose to do so. These are the headshots going to be popped off. Simple gets the frag on the NAVI and at least something to chew on as they finish off the third round of this map. Dust 2 so far goes very well for Gambit, but that is until we see the very first buy round out of Navi. This AWP comes into play. Famous and Perfecto a little bit underperforming in terms of his buy, but he's got a fair pack of utility to be operating with, which can be way more crucial. Oh, Electronic is about to win a fight right there. Hobby down. And this opens up a world of possibilities for Navi to sail into the rounds. Nafani waits out just the time Bit abandons his position. He gives it up completely, but Nafani is also under read. He's been scrutinized by Electronic, and Bit is currently jumping over the window to gather some info, and I think this is the time he spotted him out. Nade will reveal his position as well. Electronic from the city spawn will take him down. Sheer with an AWP charms in with a frag. Fully blind, and it still pulls off the trigger precisely so. Bit behind the boxes. Electronic is going to be taken out of the contention. Bit! Oh my lord, he misses his mark as well. Navi, with no kills delivered on the B-bomb side, they will crumble and force back with an AWP and an M4A4 to probably go for the save. Gambit don't give out those, and Simple understands that. The experience on these players, even though they've been quite fresh, they've been a new roster into CSGO worlds. Of course, you saw Hobbit around. This is a very well-known player around the whole globe, but overall, Gambit is not the same caliber of popularity as you tend to associate with teams like Navi or G2, Astralis, etc. No, Gambit is a new player in this whole department, and it is already not even close to being a slouch, even against NAVI. I mean, the best team in the world, #1 team in the world. How could you argue with that? It is just impossible. It was a very nice flashbang indeed. Imagine if Shiro had missed his shot. That would have been an instant capitalization by whoever was standing up close. I wasn't even paying attention to who was right there. I think it was Boomich, if I'm not mistaken. And he was taken out of contention straight away. That could be Perfecto, yeah. That could be Perfecto up close. I guess that was Perfecto. Because he normally plays on the B-bomb sides, and Simple, you can see how mobile he is with the AWP as well. The previous times we saw him playing with the Deagle over on B. Now he goes on to short. I think short is going to be the most abused position by Simple in this matchup. So far, it's been so. And a weapon of that impact is sorely the one to be more aggressive with. Simple waits on the other end. His position pays off. Very nice. Boomich as well works off of the distraction provided by Simple. He's going to be dropped down to 4 HP. Not a very pleasant spot to be in. Molly deployed. Oh, he's going to force him out of his position. Down to 1 HP. He burns. But most importantly, he stays alive. And this becomes very, very annoying for Gambit indeed. They are 3 men alive, and NAVI may be able to lock in their first round after Gambit pick up consecutive 4. Electronic leans in to grab Hobbit's AK-47 with his life. He goes down and leaves the last 2 players alive to save their weapons. So 4-0 will soon convert into 1-4. Of course, still favoring Gambit 3 rounds ahead of NAVI, but that is a good start for NAVI. And also the fact that Gambit, they've saved a lot of players back in the day when they picked up those consecutive rounds against NAVI. It built up their economy very massively, and right now, even if they lose these weapons, it still wouldn't be a big problem for them to rebuy. They kept up a very huge amount of players across the board as they were playing against force buys by NAVI or even eco rounds. Whatever it was, they kept up their economy very solid, and right now it may play a very big joke for NAVI as well, because right now they're having as good buy as NAVI's, and if they take this one away, NAVI will be, I don't want to say economy naked, because well, they've saved 4 players in this round, I guess. Mark me if I'm wrong, but that was approximately 4 players in the previous round, so their economy will rise slightly at least. If they lose this round, it is also going to be a world of money for them, just enough for another buy conversion. And oh my god, that was a very good read by Shiro with an AWP. He was fast to take his feet onto the lower tunnel, and then instant shot with an AWP, unfortunately missing, just slipping by the limbs of whoever was jumping on short. Electronic, maybe he was at that point in time. I mean, it is so hard to spot out who was on the other end when you're fully focused on Shiro, the guy who was going absolutely explosive. He started explosive with his career with his spot in Gambit, and now he wants to prove that as a consistency in this matchup against NAVI as well. Simple with an AWP with the rest of his team. These frags belong to Electronic and him. Down on the A-bomb site, Gambit have not been given a key to the A-bomb site whatsoever. NAVI, they will not give any opportunity for Gambit right now. It is just a matter of how much time we will wait until this round gets wrapped up. Sure enough, NAVI are not yet eager to hunt them down. The smokes and mollies will be left on the Gambit side. So is an AWP and an AK-47 to be saved into the next round. That is something to be happy about, because their economy, well, just look at how quick it slided down into a pit of a void. They have nothing, basically. The only thing that will make them heading around the cliff is that AWP and an AK-47 saved. And also, it is a very good takeaway to mention that they saved exactly the same weapons in the round before the previous. So that also made them preserve their economy a little bit. And this is why they're having a more or less good buy. Of course, 3 Galils are definitely not a good match against M4s and AK-47s. But, well, that is sure better than an SMG play. Simple. Not being able to catch NAVI off guard. He tried to help his teammate out, but that was desperation. Only a huge amount of damage dealt, but the frag is theirs, and these are the Galils going for the conversion. If NAVI was pretty good with an AWP, he could have gone for the swap with Shiro, but you don't normally see that often. Like Shiro, even though he has his teammate tagged down low, he will still stick around the AWP because it can bring even more impact rather in anybody other's hands. Because, well, normally when you have 2 sniper riflers on your team, one gets tagged down low, and you can drop your AWP and switch up and take an AK-47 instead, or any other rifle to play with. If that guy receiving an AWP is sure he's going to be able to fire off just enough impact as he is intended to. Hobbit again takes off Electronic on top of the A-bomb side, who was trying to dodge those mollies and smokes, which were just around the place. Gambit are looking to pick up the 5th round on their board. Those frags just became fully unanswered for NAVI. I mean, 2 in a row for Gambit. NAVI brought down to 9 HP. That all started with a very massive and crucial opening onto the middle. All thanks to NAVI, who now falls, but how much did he do? Boomich was down, and that catch onto Electronic as well on top of the A-bomb side ruined the day for NAVI. They are nowhere to be found in this round. It is just a matter of getting some residual frags. But even that is not going to be of big importance into the round number 8. So, 3 rounds difference for Gambit. Hobbit, I mean, just pure dismantle for Electronic. You couldn't even pull out the trigger right there. NAVI are crumbling to pieces. Every time Gambit are taking this one slow, it looks to be a very easy path for them to the round victory. And also can keep in mind, this is the NAVI's pick. Dust too. Somebody said it's easier to play on the T side, but I would argue with that. City is also a very nice side to be playing by. And this instantly gets proved here right now. Bit and Simple, both AWP snipers, delivering 1 frag each. This works just fine for NAVI to close out these 2 remaining players into their lockers. And be left in the darkness of nothing, of no success, of nothing, throwing in front. And yet again, Gambit, I mean, they're having another round where they save 2 weapons in the next round, and this continues as a trend. Even even though Navi are converting the round victories, even though they are taking the necessary amount of players down, they are still unable to deprive all of the weapons remaining on the Gambit side. And like, even though you can't say it is very traumatic for them, but those details really matter, because sometimes the AWP, even with pistols, can make a lot of work, and along with an AK-47, even better. Of course, Navi will know that, and they've got to keep an eye on that as well. I mean, if you're playing against an AWP on Shiro and an AK-47 with Exile, Exile is currently the best aimer in the world. I dare say so, because he's been phenomenally great with any rifle that falls into his hands. He's just playing down to the limit. He's a very powerful man indeed. That goes well for the full investments. For a case, a pack of utility also present. Shiro with an AWP going to be peering over the middle, just as he does normally in the beginning of the round. They were simple, just on the right. If he had X-ray, he could have pulled off the trigger, flicking him out. This is all fair. Counter-Strike hasn't been any transparent. These times especially. Bit takes NAVI off guard with an AWP. That second op charms in. And another frag to Shiro as well. The bomb drops just in front of the incendiary that finally burns out. Hobbit will make his way forward. Nobody up close to catch him off with an AWP, just as Bit did on the second shot. So he's going to have easy time of grabbing the bomb. Throws out a smoke. That's going to land as a one-way. Tries to go further, but Bit is good for yet another frag. Straight down the city spawn he goes. And doubles. Not even doubles it up, but triples it up. That's what I was going to say. 8 seconds remaining. Gambit to take the first player down. That is a very crucial find. They make the bomb planted. And Simple is yet to pick off one more player. Crouching to the left over the short Bit. AWP in presence gets and towards down. And he's up to 4 kills. Is it going to be the ace for the young blood of the CT side of Navi, to be more precise? He does get it. AWP, all frags belong to him. Navi are on the 4th. AWP will be dropped over to Perfecto. In the meantime, Bit searches and finds yet more. Another rob, to be more precise. A very big round out of him. Nice way to shut down Shiro as well. Then onto the middle. So flexible in this round, just bouncing back and forth, finding the frags he needs. Simple hyped up about that, and this is a very crucial one for Navi, because they put Gambit into a hot seat, into a grinding halt. You can say that because they are having only upgraded pistols, but that doesn't bother them. Hobbit to take down Electronic, who gets over aggressive. This will be punished straight away, and this fast push into the B-bomb site may play a very bad joke with Bit. He's only good for 1 frag. That is totally clear. Gambit have just paved their way into the B-bomb site. I would say totally unscathed. I wonder, what does the bomb do right there? Why it is not being planted? It crosses all the way to the right. Some miscommunication by Gambit. Shiro is also alive with an AWP. He picked it up from Bit, who dropped it down. Navi are having a couple of flashbangs to force the issue into the B-bomb side. They retake it. No doubt about that. Shiro has been flashed off. He's trying to dance around. Exile had to contribute at least 1 frag, but that's not going to be nearby. Shiro falls down, and Boomich with the last shot to secure an easy defuse for Navi. It was a very, very hard task for Shiro to clutch it out, really. In a 1-on-3, the smoke dissipates. Once you miss your first shot, even if you hit it, you still will be sprayed down from the back. So that was a one-way jump straight through the smoke. He was completely exposed. Couldn't find a safe spot to be shooting from. And with that said, we approach the tie of the scoreline, 5-5. And Shiro finally gets back to play with an AWP. That was a very big round out of Gambit. Not only they planted the bomb down, but also took a couple of Navi players in grave. That was 2, in fact. I consider that a success for them, undoubtedly so. Perfect. So the first anchor on the B-bomb side falls, and Bit to experience his death after he gets himself one frag at the very least. The question is, are Navi going to be tugged into retaking this one? Surely the answer is no. They are all scatter across the map to save their weapons, to minimize the chance of Gambit taking them all down. Just a fast take by Gambit right there. There was also an amazing flick by Intors, if I'm not mistaken, who took down Perfecto up close. A massive opening by him to break into the B-bomb side and shatter the entire defense out there. That was a very nice find indeed. I want to see overtime. I know this is too early for such a forecast, but you know, when you are seeing Navi playing up against Gambit, you always want to see something like overtime, something very head-to-head coming into this matchup, because, well, you're having Gambit versus Navi. And of course, this is the stuff you normally expect to be happening in grand finals. But even in the semifinals, even the semifinal for Navi, it is not even called as a semifinal, but on paper, it looks to be so, because one victory for them or Gambit, and they are locking themselves in the grand final. Of course, the one who loses gets descended down to the lower bracket and will have another chance to fight for the grand final spot. So no tears will be dropping down your face even if you lose this matchup. You will still have enough chance to pull back on the second attempt just in the lower bracket, as I've mentioned. Okay, Gambit are looking to take their feet into the middle position. Bit, no utility to cover him off. That is very hard to do, so AWP works itself out. Bit is phenomenal with this weapon. Perfecto has made one player cross by him, but he is about to see one more crossing in. Oh my god, he's losing a lot of openings right there, a lot of easy frags, I should say. He's only having 1 frags in total. Bit with another peek down onto Shiro. He gets him down and opts for one more. Is it going to be another ace from Bit? He's doing it all on his lonesome. With an AWP he goes, and Exile maybe thinking, well, even if I'm the last player alive, I don't want to give out that ace for Bit. No, I'm just going to tuck myself in and wait for them to run in. Bit lower. He's going to be so eager for that ace. I'm pretty sure about that. It's 10 seconds remaining, but he's not going to go for this one. Look at how disciplined Navi are. They understand that every single weapon counts. Every piece of economy contributes to the overall puzzle, and they will not let it slip through. By any means. For no reason at all. Of course, you wanted to go for the show? That's good. 4 frags, just enough. The ace would be better, I totally get it, but safety precautions do matter no less than getting the ace. 6-6, we are all tied up. Navi are into the double setup yet again. Not willing to give it up just yet. It's been working so well against Gambit, really shutting them down, putting their backs against the wall, especially with the Bit's impact. I mean, you don't normally think about Bit being that hero player. Scan Valor is about to be protruding out of the wall. Shiro, or rather Interest, does not see it just yet, but he will now. Pulls off the trigger, and that is all the elect shot for Bit. That is so unfortunate that he couldn't get away with one frag for Navi. That was a very nice potential. Nobody was out there to trade him off. Talking about Interest, if he had been dropped, Bit would have easily been able to find a route back to the safety spot. Gambit preparing there, needs to be thrown out over the A-bomb side. There is, in the meantime, Electron coming up close. I think he's been spotted, but he saw NAVI in the first order. And that capitalizes in a very nice frag. Perfect on top of the box as well. Gets himself one more. And NAVI are on the 7th. It looks so. 30 seconds remaining. There is a bomb still stuck in the middle. Interest will be taken out by Simple, who's been also pretty good with an AWP thus far. He does take Simple with him. But the round is done. And Navi's economy boiled over as well. They have just enough cash for the last 2 rounds of this half. I do believe it's going to be exactly the case. Also, nice crosshair placement by Simple. If you're looking at how Simple plays on Twitch in his live streams, you oftentimes see him positioning his crosshair onto the right side of the wall. And this is the right thing you want to do if you're playing matchmaking or if you're just starting the game. If you want to get some pro tips, this is one of few you can save into your checklist of professional tips. Okay, some fancy stuff by Simple down the middle, with the help of his teammates, getting them all down and leaving no chance in this round. NAVI have already secured a round advantage in the first half. That is the 8th round picked up. And what is up next? What is the response from Gambit? This is the last round of the half. They are going with a very healthy buy indeed. Utility and weapons they've been going for as usual. An AWP and 4 AKs. Aggression over long by NAVI as they are taking every piece of control right there. But Exile takes him out. Bit. He shows himself up and will receive a bullet into his face for doing so. That is one big component of NAVI taken out of the list. Simple will not make any life easier for Gambit in this short position. He plays with Boomich, but Gambit are all ahead of it. A run boost works out just fine to distract the attention of Simple right there. That is Perfecto left up against 4. And Lord, look at how well spread they are across the map. That's going to be one player watching down the middle. Exile, but I don't think he has any read onto Inter's up. Close was looking in that direction, but not close enough for spotting him out first. So this will be over for the moment. We will be heading to a very short break, and after that time, we will be back with a new portion of action between NAVI and Gambit. Back into the second half of Navi and Gambit we go. That is Dust 2. The territory of Navi, as we can see right now. From this point, I wouldn't go far deep into crowning Navi as the winners on this one beforehand, because Gambit are still showed a very competitive scoreline. They finished it off in a pretty tight fashion. Eight to 7 if you want to be more precise. I just forgot it for the moment. Yeah, just how close this game is. Okay, we are about to get involved into the first clash of the second half. Navi versus Gambit, as they get themselves into the B-bomb side straight in a ferocious fashion. Navi will be rushing straight through, taking only one player of defense down. The rest will back off and secure the man advantage right now. Oh, he hears the reload and will go through. Exile exploding out of the window area and does shut them all down. That is a massive play out of him. Here's the player underneath reloading his gun and barrels all the way through to get him down. That is a massive play by Exile. And if anybody tells me that this guy's only good at aiming skills, he's also good at game sense and game experience. I mean, well, of course, these players are playing on the top level CS, and this is quite a normality to see Exile with a performance like that. Here's him reloading. That was a massive mistake by Navi. They let the player go so damn exposed against Exile, who was eager to get himself out of the side. That could have worked out the way of Navi if somebody was covering off window. But unfortunately, it was not the case. Gambit with the 8th round on their board. The second pistol round and short in this series thus far has been done on the first map of their opponent. Electronic with a very quick lean towards A. Spots out the player underneath. Hobbit instantly moving himself to the right. Takes Simple out of game. AK-47 will be picked up on the way by. Into their initial positions. They've started out this round from 17 rounds. Are about to be played out as soon as we finish off this one. 3 Deagles lined out. An Electronic playing with an AK-47. That's been retrieved from the Simple's buddy, if I'm not mistaken. He's also the only player with an armor. A run boost to be carried over by Navi. That's going to be straight into the A-bomb side. But unfortunately, Hobbit up close with the help of Shiro. They will be dealing no damage until now. And Hobbit up close. He will deny one more. The bomb unfortunately gets planted. He is a second too late for providing its denial. But that is still a 9th round for Gambit. But Navi, they were aiming for the bomb plant at the very least. They were aiming for the bomb plants. This gives them just enough money in the next round to go in. And they will go all in. They will have enough money. That's going to be all fine for them to battle against Gambit after they lost 2 rounds in a row. I believe this still would have been a buy for them, even if they hadn't planted the bomb down. But, you know, right now it is a way healthier buy with an AK-47, an AWP onto Simple, who already delivers a tag onto NAVI, who was jumping over. Simple is very good at speculating where his enemy is going to be jumping, where he needs to position his crosshair to deliver that tag onto a player early on. I think he's the most consistent player at getting a wall tag early on in the rounds. Time on the clock is hell of abundant for NAVI to consider themselves through the options available, but they gotta start off with the first frag onto Exile, who drops the bit. Flashed off for the moment, but has been saved by jumping back. Electronic still has an AWP player staring down the gap. Shiro, oh my lord, he expects for this one. He waits for him to jump over. It will happen indeed. Had a second chance to pull off the trigger as well, but unfortunately that's been missed. Hobbit, the only player remaining on the A-bomb side, will fall as well. And Navi with the 9th round recovered after a bit. Took the first player down. He was very scrappy under the second. Couldn't connect it. He was very, very close to being dead as well. Gambit were just one shot away from taking him down. Even if it happened, you know, it still wouldn't be a big trouble for Navi to energize themselves into the A-bomb site through the lawn, because Electronic was actually very crucial with that frag. He took Shiro down, a very important component for Gambit. And that all started falling apart. Hobbit could not handle such a push by Navi onto the A-bomb side on his lonesome. That had to require some inhuman power, some inhuman abilities from him to keep all of those players at bay. It is just impossible. This game doesn't go even by 2 rounds ahead for neither of the teams. After we saw Navi getting a comeback against Navi in the first half, right now the second doesn't allow any team to get a breathing room. Basically, it is just back and forth fights. Navi are having a pretty solid chance to take down Gambit, as they were having a pretty select buy. 2 M4s, 1 Famous, a Scout, and the second Famous to close out the list. Electronic, the only player in the box area as usual. He will throw out some utility to bait Gambit into thinking that it's going to be an A attack from long, but rather short is the area to be targeted by Navi instead. Shiro does get a very important frag with a Scout, and he's also up close to shatter them all down. He does get the damage he needs to. NAVI jumps on top of the smoke, and this costs his life. Navi will see that. Shiro goes for yet another try, and he will miss it. Intorch is the only player left right here. The bomb is being planted down. It will be denied for the moment, but not for the round victory. Simple was straight out of there to help out his teammate. Shiro with a very nice opening onto Lawn Bait as well, spraying down NAVI. Okay, he actually didn't see him at all, but the game sense on that guy made that frag very tricky for NAVI. This is why he was forced to jump up to at least somehow make the spray of a bit go awry to some respect. Simple again, so close from landing a tag onto these middle players. Gambit will go for the gamble stack over the bomb side. 4 or rather 5 USPSs across the board. Of course, if Navi come close enough to battle against them, this can be very badly for them. Even if they end up 2 players lost, still a very good farm for Gambit considering their buy right now. They haven't showed their positions just yet. It is all so silent. Navi are either, look at how much space they were taking by producing no sound at all. Now Gambit will know what they were up to. That is a very nice frag by Exile. Or rather, Shiro, excuse me. No exile in this consideration. Shiro with the USPS will be taken out by the Navi players, and easy as that. I don't know. I'm casting this match. I feel like I'm a sleeping fly. I don't know. I have a condition right now of my body, though I don't feel myself sick, but for some reason today I'm a little bit off the pedal. Really, I'm off the mark. Looks like I'm drained away to some extent. Okie dokie. Let's get back into an energetic action with a fast pace by Navi over the lawn area. Boomich had a very nice chance to take that frag down. He was fully blind, talking about his enemy, but then refrags came through. Gambit. A 3-on-4 situation at the end of this round for now. At the end of this fight, to be more exact. The round is not over just yet. 1-10 left on the clock. The smokes are lying in front. That's going to be a spray down attempt by Hobbit. But an AWP by Simple takes him out of contention. This is a very nice opening by Simple indeed. This takes one threat of the A-bomb side eliminated. NAVI tries to go for the ambitious jump. He's got a molly to throw out as well. That's going to burn them down to somewhat very crucial amount of damage inflicted. NAVI comes out around, and he is about to get Simple down. Oh my god. What a round out of Gambit. NAVI. They did get onto the A-bomb side pretty nice. Claws onto the bomb. And yet Gambit somehow survive. I mean, that is just so crazy to witness NAVI jumping maybe 3 times in a row and still catching no bullet into his face. Well, normally you've jumped 1 time, you dodged the death. Second one, well, you're lucky enough to still be alive. And the third, well, you've got to think you will be all dead. But no, somehow, some way, Navi don't get that frag onto NAVI. Even if they do afterwards, it is still very tricky stuff for them to stay alive on the A-bomb side. Basically, by allowing NAVI to stay alive, they maximize their chances to win out the rounds. By some proportion, but that works out for them at the end of the day. Gambit with their second tactical pause taken in this contention against NAVI. Equalized by 1 AWP setup for Gambit. Even if they wanted, they couldn't go for more AWPs in the plate. A bit of a damage connected over the mid doors onto NAVI. No backfire established by him. Doesn't want to give out his position. Wants to let NAVI think that it is totally clear. Or at least be unsure about that. Hobbit over on short. Does take the first player down. Boomich, who gets himself out of the box. Out of the wall. Will be falling down. 4-on-5. Still remains a question for NAVI. They've been drawn down with the first frag by Hobbit. And what's the plan right now? They've spotted out 1 player over the B-bomb site. 1 more up close. That is interest. Hobbit as well, just around the smoke. This is a very powerful position to be in if NAVI execute middle right now. In fact, electronics up close. The smoke dissipates. And who's going to see each other first? It will be Hobbit. And he instantly takes that frag into his own hands. Perfecto. Interest not spotted. That is good news for Gambit because NAVI has just provided 2 more frags on the B-bomb side to force Simple into saving his AWP. This game goes every bit closer to overtime. Now that the teams want to rack up a 2-round lead. Not being able to break the economy down as well. I mean, those saves by both of the teams, Gambit and NAVI, they don't let their enemy, whoever it is, be it NAVI or Gambit, to take an easy victory, to, you know, buy some breathing room, to ease off a little bit, to decompose, and, well, just find a very easy frag. Don't just find a very easy round. Don't over-innovate. Don't be under pressure. Because when you're playing against pistols, it is way easier to bring your opponent down. If you know that there are as good weapons as on your side on the other end, it is something that holds a very big question in your mind on whether you're capable of converting that rounds. Because when you're having a short thing advantage over your enemy in terms of your weapons, like you're playing against Glocks or USPSs, you instantly know, well, hypothetically this round should be ours, but in this one it is all equalized until somebody gets the opening frag or finds a very big frailty to exploit. NAVI, nobody on the A-bomb side for Gambit to watch off the short play. In the meantime, Electronic will come through the middle, hobbit up close, will take him out of contention. Simple's AWP has been spotted out as well. Bit taking down his teammate on the B-bomb site. This collapses for NAVI. They find no entrance and no frags at all. 5 players staying alive. Exile coming in from the back, hobbit to help him out. And this will be a pure sanity over the middle position. NAVI with no impact at all. Only poor Boomich to secure 1 frag. And there is one more on long. Exile coming through, but Boomich stays strong with an AWP. Something to be going with into the next round. This is, again, as I've mentioned multiple times, this round is finished, and NAVI have barely any economy to rebuy. But this AWP can actually save them. It can potentially save them. They can go for the half buy and work off of that AWP solely. I believe it's going to be dropped over to Simple. Okay, they are taking a tactical pause to decide on what exactly they want to do in this round. You supposedly drop this AWP over to Simple. Equip the rest of the players with armor, P250 perhaps, Deagle on some of the players, utility also intact, and you will be just fine. You will be given a more or less reasonable chance to win out the round. Yeah, the AWP will be shot over to Simple, who's up to 17 kills so far. The next in line after a bit, who's up to 19. This kid is going crazy. It's driving my mind absolutely nuts. If you remember, the first half went so damn enormous. By positive means, he was able to get almost 2 aces. Almost 2 aces in the first half. That was something tremendously huge. Gambit are having a really solid chance to take out NAVI in this round as well, as they are playing against upgraded pistols and an AWP for Simple. Electronic has snuck by into the middle. Nobody from Gambit to cover off this position. He's tucked in behind the wall. They're all scattered around both of the sides. Simple. Oh, you've got to be very careful. Very careful, Shiro. Sorry, not Shiro, but NAVI, who's on the B-bomb side. Oh, almost so close. Simple. Just an inch away from taking him down. Electronic making his move from the middle. NAVI drops after he gets one more of his own. Inchhorse has been wrapped up from behind as well. This looks very solid for Navi. Simple with an AWP will be leaning out to take down Exile. And this round collapses. Maybe Gambit will go for the save, because none of the players except for Hobbit has a good economy state. Only him wields $6,000 to his account. But none of the other players can brag about such an amount of his bag. 12 to 11 suddenly turns into a 12 to 12. I thought that would be a 13 to 11 against Navi, and finally a 2-round difference for Gambit. Probably the first 2-round difference we could see on this half, but no, it is just a toe-to-toe game, left and right. Simple delivering with the op frags. Gambit on the other side as well. When those rounds kick in, when those full rounds become part of conversation, they are instantly to bring it back somehow, some way. I mean, Navi with the force buys as well. This is probably their first force buy, the one out in such a matter. Even though it wasn't very, very easy, but still ended up being pretty relieved after getting 3 frags at the end. 12 to 12. None of the teams has been able to break into the lead thus far. I don't want to say that this round will determine that, because while 1-round lead is not a lot to be talking about, you want to see at least 2 rounds lead to, you know, feel yourself dominant enough against your opponent. Simple has been caught up with a flashbang. Inchhorse also not spotted, so that is the information working in favor of Gambit right now. Of course, with that flashbang received for Simple, they will instantly reposition themselves over to short, pivot around, and make that AWP with the rest of the squad get into the A-bomb side. Here they come straight out of the smokes. Hobbit completely shut off in terms of the vision, but it still excelled to get the frags. 2 in a row. A massive round out of Gambit as well, just putting the stop to Navi's offensive over on short. That's you know, after Simple got flashed off, I thought that would be a frag for Inchhorse 100%, but no, he picked out a moment too late, which let Simple preserve his life into this round and get another chance of fighting back. But again, Gambit on their map pick, on the map pick of Navi, they snatch out 1 more round. It's just too early to make any assumptions in terms of who's going to come out on top. But still, Gambit, or as I've mentioned, like, if you're picking out Dust 2, based on the previous performance, as I've mentioned, 16 to 14 and 16 to 12, even though Navi came out against them on top, but it was a very close battle at the end of the day. So this is exactly what Gambit are showing right now. They are not bad on Dust 2 at all. They were having just enough fuel in their banks to command into this one, and I mean, just as you say that, it is 13 to 12 already, and a really solid chance that Gambit pick up the map pick of their enemy. Excel, oh my god! What an ambitious play. So ballsy to run all the way down to short, get on top of the edge wall, and spray your enemy down. He also fell down behind the box, which made things a little bit scrappy for him to account for yet another frag. Yeah, eventually he fell down. Boomich made himself up to a very great scoop up of frags. 2 frags in short. And Navi are instantly in a med advantage. Boomich, however, 5 HP left to work with. There's not a lot. Still, he will be backing up with his teammate over to T-spawn, making sure the upper tunnel is clear. In the meantime, Electronic, as usual, lurks himself into the lawn area. This time, dug down into the pit. And waits for Perfecto to arrive. Shift button held, not producing any sound at all, to avoid somebody on short from hearing them out. Nobody would, because Shiro is quite far away from that position. He's actually watching down the middle. So he's deep into the city spawn. Navi are having just enough utility to cover that off, I believe. Exactly so. Oh my god, he's got a bit of a gap. But the fact that they jump over and also flash off this position, credit to Navi for making those details come out victorious for them at the end of this contention. It looks like Navi will be forcing Gambit to save their weapons and nothing more will be seen in this round. So another moment where Navi tie up the scoreline. How long is it going to happen? I mean, how much of such rounds are we going to witness? I simply don't know. It is a question of no answer on the other end. Just pure insanity happening in this game. I already don't know how Ancient will go, but Ancient, you know, is a map of like, even though you can say analytically that some players, that some teams are already way more successful than others, but still Ancient is a pretty uncharted territory. I mean, yeah, they've played it out for a couple of weeks already, but still, it is not the map that you are very familiar with as you are on Dust 2 or Mirage, for instance. It's been added to the map pool just a moment ago. New territory for all of the teams. And still questionable to say on 100% success for either of the teams. I mean, if it does too, even though it's been played out multiple times for Navi, it is also hard to say. But in case of Ancient, it is a different story, right? A completely different story. The map that hasn't been seen previously at all. The first player of contact will be taken down. That is Hobbit. The man who I thought was going to spot out Boomage jumping on top of the stairs. There was also a very massive opportunity for him to take him down, but unfortunately, Boomage appeared to be ahead of that. So 13-13. Navi are looking way better on this one for now. Shiro whips the shot. That's not going to connect on either of the players of Navi. They've gathered the info where the AWP is located. Now locate your smokes over the city spawn. They don't do that at all. No, instead, channeling themselves straight to the B-bomb side. Finally, the smoke arrives. But there's only in towards the poor man on the B-bomb side who left it all. He will leave his spot with only blood and nothing more. So Navi pick up the 14th. And I mean, even though they're picking up the rounds, right? It is still quite frustrating to see them being unable to hunt those players down. It is Shiro and Exile saving their weapons yet again. It's been happening over and over. And this helps them rebuy into the next round. That is the problem, Navi. You want to force Gambit onto a Nico round or a very terrible force buy to make your route to the 15th round even easier. Unfortunately, with those weapons saved, it's not going to be an easy one for them. Even though they picked up the 14th round, yes, just one away from making the map points. Succeeded, achieved, accomplished. Whatever synonyms you want to match up to this matchup. Whatever synonyms you want to match up to this matchup. That is, that reminds me a bit of tautology. I believe. You know, when you're having two same words or one word and one of the same word used in a different word, then you're going to consider it as a tautology, just a reiteration of words in one sentence, or even in a text. Sometimes it may be marked as a tautology in a text, in the entire text. So you want to avoid it. You want to use as many synonyms as you're able to mix up your cast, to mix up hype moments and all things around it. All right, fine. Electronic with a very fast smoke extinguisher. That's a pretty quick molly, but unfortunately he's been caught off with the rest of the players. They knew that he is completely abandoned by his teammates. Nobody could help him out. That was a one-way push by Electronic. He was trying to get over aggressive, but unfortunately did not work out at all. 13-14, and NAVI lose one important component of the puzzle early on, just with no battle at all. He couldn't connect a single point of damage. Nothing to help NAVI get better going into the second attempt of making 2 rounds consecutive. In charge with the Deagle, well, maybe this is something that NAVI will be happy about, for sure. But there is a ton of more to deal with, who are having M4s and AWP as well. Inchorus trying to pick up an AK-47. He's going to make it fine. Electronic would drop down, will just grant this AK into his hands. That is a very nice find for him indeed. 30 seconds until NAVI decide where they want to go. Looks like 4 of the players, or rather 3, will be sharing the same idea of executing down the lawn area. Boomish take the first down. Inchorus out of the game already. NAVI up close on top of the site. He will be the next in line to fall down. Hobbit stays alive on top. The bomb is yet to be picked up. No time for NAVI. And oh my god! Almost a collateral bit. Tries to connect those shots. But it is gonna be a victory for Gambit. How close this round was. Oh my god. That was a very close one indeed. I didn't even think NAVI could be as successful as they were crossing the lawn, crossing half of long. NAVI was taking out one more player by close margin. And, then Hobbit to stamp on their push with 8 seconds remaining only. Hit it just enough to stop them from planting the bomb down. The time, your enemy. NAVI, time was your biggest enemy in this round, and you've got to be kicking yourself for grinding the clock down to such a gap. Such a short gap. NAVI, they were supplied with enough gifts in the previous run. Don't get me wrong. I mean, 2 frags out of LON is a gift from the sky. But then the time was a very big factor they were intimidated by the most. It forced them to lose the round yet again. That could be their 15th. But no, Gambit, they are again to say no. They've been saying this word multiple times in this game, multiple times in this map. They don't want this one to go in favor of NAVI. It is either overtime or somebody takes it. Bet to start off conversation in his favor. Gets NAVI down. Shiro to watch middle off when the AWP will be switched up with his teammates. It goes further and further. That is up by himself. Hobbit. As he goes in this game. The name he goes by in this game. Instantly slowing the things down after getting the first frag from NAVI. They know that Gambit's economy is also not very good after they've won out the previous one. So now a pretty solid chance to take the the map points for Navi. But again, they continue running into exactly the same trap set up by Hobbit. He used to be in exactly the same position a couple of rounds ago. Same, capitalizing on that aggression by Perfecto. And bringing that man advantage back to an equalized spot. 20 seconds again. Navi have just ground the clock down to this mark. Intros on top of the box. Oh no, he will take bit down. And then there is Hobbit contribute as well. Perfecto, the player who started off the entire calamity in favor of Gambit. And then Electronic to close it off. To grant them that last frag for the 15th round. That is absurd. This is just absurd of how these rounds go. Navi, the problem is you're getting the clock down to 15 seconds or somewhat. And you're having tension boiling over. You are start falling forward. You're starting making mistakes. You start ignoring a lot of positions. You basically rely on your individual plays rather than tactical means. That is not a good way to do, not a good way to go. I mean, the fact that there were only 8 seconds left and there are still 2 players left on the B-bomb side, that instantly says this round is over. This round is dead sure over. Gambit are having a very solid chance to take their map pick just under the nose. To take Navi's map pick and sail into their own of Ancient. A tactical pause, the right time to take it. For Gambit, in fact, even though they are already at map points, they want to make sure this one is wrapped up already. Don't want to give Navi too many options to play with on overtime. Nope, just close it out here or now on the city side and go for a bit of a rest and prepare for the second map. Navi will not be happy about that at all. But even though, even if it closes 16-14, not only is it going to be the first victory for Gambit in the out of 3 last matches they played. This is the 3rd match they are playing against Navi on Dust 2. The previous 2 came out victorious for Navi, but right now they are having a chance. Well, at least a better chance than we saw previously against Navi. And just look at that bar. I mean, if there is any room Navi can pull it back, I'm going to be so damn surprised. Gambit, a team of such level, I don't want to make you let this one slip through. Shiro misses his first AWP shot. He wants to get aggressive into the middle. Almost puts out another onto the middle. Onto the top mid. Who's juggling his feet around the low range barrels. Bit to supply with another smoke out of the middle. That's going to cover off the entrance onto short as they can easily bark themselves onto the box and step over the edge wall. Flanking around the same spot is the way to go into this round. There is no other option available. You cannot distribute your forces separately over the map. No, just rush through as a single force. And nobody on the A-bomb side for Gambit. In fact, instead, they are all covered up with the smokes. That is a very nice utility usage by Navi. But they are having a chance to plant the bomb down the very least and work off of something. Oh, that headshot was almost close to be hit from Shiro. He backs off, and this puts us into a 3-on-3. Oh, Electronic, the sneaky man, but interest. The timing's everything. He's going to come into the spawn, misses. A bit of a timing right there, but Electronic instead picks him off. 2-on-2. The bomb is taken halfway through. Exile is going to go for the spray down. Electronic coming in from the slope. And this will be the 16th round for Gambit. What a map it's been, ladies and gentlemen. An absolute just beastly performance from both of these teams, but unfortunately, Gambit are just a couple of bits ahead of Navi in this one. You can see none of the players are happy about that for Navi. I'm frustrated. I'm really frustrated, but this is deserved. A very deserved one. I mean, just you know, they were shaking around at the same boat. Really was trying to push each other away, try to pick up that consecutive round advantage, and that all went down to 15-14 scoreline. There wasn't basically any time Navi could feel themselves ahead of Gambit, or Gambit could feel themselves ahead of Navi for some time at the very least. Okay, this all has been wrapped up into a 16-14 scoreline. We're gonna make this one go for a very short break. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Don't go far off your seats, and we'll be right back with the second map of Ancient. I'm not satisfied. You know what? I'm not gonna finish this cast right now. This is off the topic. This is off the match. But I'm gonna say I didn't like how I casted this match. I mean, there are matches that you cast and you enjoy casting. You are having that just unlimited generation of ideas in your mind. You just spill them out. You just spill them onto the match. Maybe it is a matter of not being warmed up, or sometimes you just don't have that momentum. And I think this also happens to casters, right? This also happens to professional casters who have been in that category of who've been to that level of casting for a very long time. And sometimes they also have, I mean, I'm listening to some of the casts, and sometimes it feels like commentators do not ride out the game the way they need to, or at least they are thinking they could be better at doing. I mean, that is just sometimes quite disappointing to rewatch yourself, even without rewatching. I mean, you're commentating and you're already viscerally understanding that this is not a good cast at all. You know, you're tripping, you are hiccuping, you are swallowing a lot of words, and it becomes apparent. It is transparently obvious that you didn't go well in your cast, and this is something that is a little bit annoying. But I know that this is the time you get pushed out of your comfort zone. You want to make sure you reach as high level as possible to have your worst performance seem like it is your average one. Yeah, I think that is the goal I have to go for. All right, now with that said, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I'm gonna finish it off. Hit on the stop button. Don't record anymore. This craziness I've just talked through.